Today we're going to tackle a question that honestly kind of shakes everything in our lives. What are you actually worth? We're going to unpack a book that has some really powerful and maybe even surprising answers to that. So let's dive right in.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Atomic Reviews. For this explainer, we're doing a deep dive into the main ideas from What's Your Value by Reverend Gaddiel Nana Pesseh. What's so cool about this book is how it uses these ancient stories to teach us some totally timeless ways to build our worth in the world today.
So let's just get right to it. The big question the book asks all of us is this: what are you really worth? And we're not talking about some abstract idea here. We're talking about a real, practical, tangible kind of value that affects your life every single day.
Now, right from the start, the book makes this really important distinction. See, on one hand, you've got your intrinsic worth. That's built in. It's your value just for being human, and it's non-negotiable. But on the other hand, there's your market value, and that's what we're focusing on. It's less about who you are and more about what you can do, your real-world ability to solve problems and make a contribution.
So here's our roadmap. First, we're going to lock down that definition of market value. Then we're diving into 3 amazing case studies from the book: the Jacob model, the Joseph model, and the David model. And we'll wrap it all up with what the book calls the value equation. All right, let's start with the foundation. What does this book actually mean when it talks about market value? It really boils down to this. Your value is tied directly to your ability to make things better. Simple as that. Can you step into a situation and improve the quality? Can you solve a nagging problem for a company, or even just one person? Can you make someone's life easier? That ability to make a real positive impact, that is the measure of your market value.
Okay, so let's check out our first model for building that value. This is the Jacob model, and it's all about one thing: multiplication.
I mean, this one quote just says it all, doesn't it? This is Jacob basically laying out his value proposition to his father-in-law, Laban. He's saying, look, you had a small-time operation before I got here, and now it's a huge success. He wasn't a caretaker, he was a multiplier.
You could almost think of Jacob as a sort of turnaround specialist. He showed up and the business was kind of stuck, not really growing. But he took what little he was given, solved that core problem of stagnation, and just blew it up into a massive enterprise.
And this brings us to our first big takeaway: the law of multiplication. Your value absolutely skyrockets when you can take something small, a tiny budget, a small team, a simple idea, and multiply it into something huge. This is a super powerful way to increase your value. All right, on to our second case study, the Joseph model. This one is all about becoming the solution.
This first points to a pretty incredible idea. Just having Joseph around made things better. He wasn't just an employee, he was a walking, talking asset. Everywhere he went, from a private house to an entire nation, his competence just generated incredible results.
Seriously, Joseph's life is a masterclass in making yourself indispensable. In Potiphar's house, he's breaking records. Even in prison, he doesn't just survive, he ends up running the place because he's a problem solver. But the biggest thing, when he gets in front of Pharaoh, he doesn't just interpret a dream, he lays out a full-blown national economic plan to save the entire country from a famine. He was the answer.
And that's the law of solution. Your value becomes almost immeasurable when you hold the answer to a big, painful, pressing problem. It's about making that shift from just being someone who does a job to being the solution that everyone has been looking for.
Okay, our third and final model is the David model, and this one is fascinating. It's all about creating value by turning the insignificant into something, well, significant.
Just think about the team David started with. He wasn't handed a team of elite Navy SEALs. No, he got the outcasts, the people who were stressed out, broke, and just plain unhappy. I mean, on paper, this sounds like a total disaster, but David saw potential where everyone else just saw a bunch of problems.
And the transformation that happened was just legendary. He took this band of misfits, these broken guys, and through his leadership, he forged them into this elite unit that became known as his mighty men. See, he didn't just find value, he created it from scratch.
So this gives us the law of significance. David proved he could be king long before he ever wore a crown. He proved it out in the wilderness with some sheep, and in a cave with a bunch of outcasts. Your big public promotions are almost always a result of your small, private victories. You prove your value when no one's watching. Okay, so we've looked at 3 pretty different but equally powerful models for building value. Now let's bring it all home with the final value equation. Here they are, all together.
the 3 fundamental laws of value from the book. You can be a multiplier like Jacob and turn a little into a lot. You can be a solution like Joseph and become the answer to a massive crisis. Or you can create significance like David and build value in the people and places that everyone else has written off.
And this, right here, is the central message of the entire book. The reward, whether it's more money, a promotion, more influence, whatever, it's just a byproduct. It always follows value. So if you focus on increasing your value using one of these models, the rewards will take care of themselves. Stop chasing the reward, start building your value.
So, as we wrap this up, the question really isn't what you learned, it's what you're going to do. Which of these models speaks to you the most, right now in your life? Are you a multiplier, a solution, a creator of significance? Which one are you going to start mastering first? I really hope this breakdown of what's your value has sparked some new ideas for you. If you want more deep dives into powerful books just like this one, make sure you subscribe to Atomic Reviews. Thanks so much for watching.